I uploaded a Yokai Watch Nuzlocke on here a while ago, like 6 months ago, where I said that I wanted to make a Yokai Watch 2 Nuzlocke. I have actually started recording the second Nuzlocke pretty much immediately after the first one, but I realized like halfway through, or frankly a bit earlier, maybe, I don't remember, that a lot of the footage got corrupted, so I thought that I gotta redo that eventually, and I did, like a week ago or something. Now, frankly, I can't tell you what happened in the first Yokai Watch 2 Nuzlocke. I don't remember a single thing. I don't even remember what chapter I was on. All I remember is that I had a Musk Evil named Monster, and that I really liked him, and that he died, and that I was really sad afterwards. But anyways, I already did it. Nothing got corrupted this time. I hope, at least. I haven't checked the recordings yet as of writing this. I probably should have done that. Anyways, here are the rules I played with. If a yokai faints, it is considered dead and can't be used anymore. I am allowed to get 1 yokai per chapter as my encounter, and I must accept the medal of the first yokai that approaches me. Yokai from the Crank-a-kai also count as encounters. I must nickname all viable yokai. Story or befriends are viable regardless of encounter. I am allowed to befriend yokai for story progression as long as I don't use them in any other way, unless I got them as encounters, of course. I am allowed to get 1 freebie yokai from the Crank-a-kai or the Infinite Tunnel. Thinking about it, maybe Gates of Whimsies would have made more sense because they're more random, but oh well, there's always Yokai Watch 3. And the last rule, no QR codes or passwords are allowed. With that out of the way, we can start. The story starts with 2 old farts stealing my Bolex, alongside my medallion, my inventory, my money, my flat screen, my car, my gift cards, my plushie collection, and the hamster cage. This starts chapter 1, where I go on a shopping spree and watch my parents almost get a divorce again. To distract myself from this tragedy, I went shopping in this not at all shady shop, where I managed to buy a new yokai watch. What a convenience! Hold on, curious clock? Level 5, have you ever seen a fucking clock? That is not the clock! Anyways, with the new watch, I'm able to comprehend Whisper again, and we decide that we need to reform our team, in case another undead dictator wants to destroy this world. We decided to go find Boshi first. He was one of our most loyal team members after all, and soon enough we found Bolt. Okay, so apparently Bolt and Yoshi went through a divorce arc or something, so I have to live with solo Bolt for now. Also, real quick, was I the only one who thought that you could actually influence the health bar by mashing the A button here? But besides Bolt, I made an entirely new friend, with the beauty of violence. I decided to name him Donut, as a reference to the Brushido in my canned Yokai Watch 2 Brave Only run. I also gotta redo that at some point. Chapter 2 is cut into halves, which makes me wonder why it's not 2 separate chapters as a whole. This way the game wouldn't have required a filler chapter. But whatever, Whisper dragged me to the Crank-a-kai, which was blocked by a blockade. After killing him, Whisper gave me a select a coin that gives me the option to choose between 2 very good yokai. And Mangimud. Mangimud is actually not that bad for a Yokai Watch 2 run. He's basically just a bootleg Jibanyan. Until he evolves, that is, then he's genuinely very good. Mangimud, however, gets greatly overshadowed by one of the best healers for the main game, and an early game nuke. I of course decided to free my old friend Diary from the last Nuzlocke. Wait, where did your speakers go? Well, it matters not, because now it's time for key quests. One of the most disliked aspects of the newer Yokai Watch games. I personally don't have a strong opinion about them though. I had to get this guy a cicada, get rid of some foul players, and beat capitalism with a hungram for which I couldn't come up with a good name, so I used a random name generator that spat out the name Efthemios. I couldn't fit in the S though, so he's just Efthemio now. In the second half of the chapter, I met up with my friend Eddie, without criminal intentions this time. But before I reconnected with a human friend, I first reconnected with another one of my old yokai friends, that being none other than Old Star. In the first Nuzlocke, he was only on the team very briefly until Bumble came along, but in this game, Old Star can actually evolve, making him much more viable. Eddie then got his inferior non-ghost detecting watch stolen, and because yokai were involved, it's my problem now. The culprit was a yokai called Yoink, who dragged the watch into an alleyway where I had to beat him up. But because he's a bad loser, he threw the watch into a sewer where this other yokai stole it, that I now also have to beat up. I was very scared of fighting Swelton, because he hits like a truck, and if he hit Diary or Donut with a fire attack, that would likely result in an OHKO. Fortunately, that did not happen, and he went down without too many complications. He was also willing to join our cause and give us back the Mega Watch. I named him Juicer, and I of course gave the watch back to Eddie. No, I'm kidding, I sold that shit on the black market for $2 gazillion. No, I didn't. It was some plastic trash you got off a Kinder Egg. It was completely worthless. In chapter 3, I realized that I forgot my summer homework and I had to get it back from school. Honestly, did you actually ever have or had homework for summer break in your school? I think I got homework for spring break back in like second grade or something, but other than that, I don't remember anything like that. Wait, extra homework? You don't even have to do this? Why do you even bother then? Despite me for my not understandable thought process, I was lucky enough to discover that good old Fredbear was sleeping within these halls. He was kinda pissed that I woke him up and tried to kill Juicer as a response. Only Juicer, kinda based, but he eventually came back to his senses and joined my team once more. Similar to All-Star, Fredbear can actually evolve in this game, so he has much more potential in this run. On our way out, we exchanged a glance with a Sans Undertale cosplayer, which was so terrifying that we shed our pants and ran home. The next day we came to the conclusion that we need to upgrade my watch to befriend stronger yokai. With this upgrade, I won't just be able to detect E-rank yokai, but also, hold onto your seats, D-rank yokai. Massive power boost, I know. And also, can't my watch already detect D-ranks? It went off when Fredbear was near me, who is D-rank. Talking about Fredbear, I added him to the team in Efthymio's place, and got my encounter for this chapter. I wanted to get a lion as a good attacking option, but got an ache instead, which is not that bad either, considering I get his evolution item in this chapter. I named him Tree and added him to the team in Donut's place. Also, was I the only one who thought that Ache was supposed to be a tree? That's why I named him Tree, because I still kinda think he looks like a tree. After that, I went to find this Mr. Goodside fella to jailbreak my watch, but this bum wasn't home. So I tracked him down by scent and found him in a local museum. You know, for the fact that he always complains how much he has to do in his shop, he apparently has enough time to spend half of his work day idling in a museum. While Mr. Goodside was still busy doing whatever he do in a museum, I had to keep myself entertained. I entered the back rooms, fought a fellow Ghostbuster, and picked up free gym equipment, which I could immediately use to evolve Tree. Once Mr. Goodside was finally back, he ordered me to get him drugs, and after that a screwdriver from a definitely not shady shop that only opens at midnight. So Fredbear had to LARP as me for the night, and I made my way to Shoppers Row, where I reunited with Yoshi, who was willing to fuse with Bolt again to form Boshi once more. For a minute or so. Well, I still got the medal, sucker. I treat Thornian here as an evolution for Jabanian, similar to Lonely Fubuki's Nuzlocke, just so you know. Afterwards I picked up the screwdriver and met the Red Man, one familiar face I did not want to see. I actually wasn't sure if you could go through Yokai Watch 2's first Terra time without being spotted, so I tried it, and succeeded. Where did he come from? He didn't see me. Well, that was some bullshit. Anyways, with the D-rank Bolex, I now broke into the school to find the Sans cosplayer and restore the balance of the world. Also, I actually thought about making a joke video that is one of those can you beat X game without breaking the law, but that just can't be done for Yokai Watch, because you always break in somewhere. Something pretty neat about this run though is that I never got locked into a room, which has never happened to me before. Upon reaching the roof, I was heading face to face with the first boss of the game, Gutsy Bones. It was Gutsy Bones, so of course I went through this death list. I don't know what I'm supposed to say here. I literally have nothing else standing in my script. Like, literally the section for Gutsy Bones is just, it was Gutsy Bones. This is all I wrote, because it's Gutsy Bones, what do you want from me? In chapter 4 I went into a gate of whimsy, where Snotzalong approached me. I named him Snoo, and I will never use him. Snotzalong just is really bad. Then I went to visit my grandma, although I'm not sure if this really is my grandma. Oh well, I get free dinner later, so who cares? By the way, future me, I don't know what gag I was trying to go here with while script writing. I wrote the script at like 3 AM. I don't know what my thought process here was. Oh well. To pass the time, I played tag with some kids, gave a homeless guy a bamboo shoot, almost got myself killed by a horde of elephants, and followed a mysterious voice coming from a mountain. This voice belonged to none other than my teleporting friend Wee, who hopefully isn't pissed that I forgot to mention him in my first video. Then I went to enjoy the view on the top of the mountain and met a yokai celebrity before getting my infinite tunnel freebie, which is a peckpocket I named Ostrich and added to the team in User's place. Peckpocket is another lucky yokai who got a new evolution in this game, making him a actually viable team member. After this adventure, I claimed my free dinner and went to sleep and woke up because Bolt was about to pee on my bed. I don't even know why he came along, to be honest. And then I had to save this mushroom looking gal from the mafia or something. Hold on. Is Tongue supposed to be a mushroom? Is that why she's called Tungus? Is it a pun on fungus? How did I never notice that? After beating her ops, who threatened me that they'll come back, which is just a lie, the fungus joined me under the name of uranium. It's a reference to the type of mushroom that feeds on radiation. Mushrooms are weird things. I went back to sleep, and when I woke up, someone was trying to steal my free breakfast, for which I wouldn't stand. The culprit was Schrödinger's boss yokai, Meganyan. He is basically a boss yokai, but isn't recognized as one by the game, so that's weird. He almost one-tapped Tree, but it was smooth sailing from there. Also, this is something I haven't really mentioned yet, but you probably noticed, Yokai Watch enemies are pretty much designed to 2-tap all of your yokai. This is why Yokai Watch 2 is widely considered the hardest Yokai Watch game. All of your yokai are one high roll or crit away from dying. In Chapter 5, this is a weird time for a new chapter sequence. In Chapter 5, Meganyan reverts back to Hovernyan and brought us back in time using a magical rock. Once in the past, we meet this guy called Nathaniel, who seems to have some complexes, and I discovered that Steve Jobs is a fraud. Who would have thought that the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company would have something shady about them? Reality eventually hit us when we realized that we can't go back to the future. But Hovernyan introduced us to a time machine mirror hybrid yokai named Wii U who could help us out. Now Wii U is an incredibly strong yokai for this early, it can easily be brought to endgame. And I decided not to use him. I still have faith in All-Star, okay? In this chapter I had to gather all the pieces for the Yokai Watch, like a silly little bell from Komajiro. On the journey, a pit bat joined me, which I named Cough, and decided to use for a while for experimental purposes. I feel like his skill has some potential for this run. I then continued with my quest and obtained a top-notch watch and a mysterious marble. I also had to use the latter to play hide and seek with a wicked yokai that smells bad or something. Even though I played this game uncountable numbers of time now, this was the first time I found bad smell. I first tried 3 or 4 times in a row, I don't remember. But anyways, that must be a good omen for sure. I then fought her and things went pretty smoothly. After all that, I gave Nathaniel his materials and he made the Model Zero watch. He also gave it to me because he's such a badass lone fighter and doesn't need to summon yokai friends. I only know one badass lone fighter and his name is Dala. Nathaniel's just a poser for real. In Chapter 6 we then get it confirmed that he is a poser and actually has kind of friends. It's complicated. Anyways, they got turned into stone and we had to go back to the future where their curse is weak enough so that they can be turned back to normal. First, I freed Fox Kappa, who wanted to fight me afterwards for some reason, and it all went very smoothly. He joined me afterwards, and once again I had zero clue what I should name him, so I used the random name generator, and I got the name Tutankamon. I could only fit Tutanka though. I, by the way, do not know what any of these names mean. I hope I'm not naming them after slurs or something. I decided to add Tutanka to the team in Tree's place, because intimidation is too good of a skill to ignore. After that, I freed the celebrity from earlier, named him Poestick, then a Gnomie that I named Steve, because one of its random nicknames was Jack, and I found that funny. I then made a quick detour to get my C-rank watch, and entered a gate of whimsy, where I befriended a Wraith, which I named Baffle. I beat up this dragon dude, freed the predictable that named after a German pudding, and then I went into a cave, where I had to summon a Wigglin I befriended much earlier, as well as a freshly befriended Steppa, and Baffle, to fight definitely not SV Staggerjack. I, by the way, was so scared of this guy because it's so hard to go through this fight without anyone dying. He can randomly rotate and lock a yokai wheel, and then do shit tons of damage with his ultimate and AoE attacks. I don't think I ever managed to beat this guy without a yokai fainting, and today wasn't any different. Ka fell with a single strike, and the remaining selected yokai struggled to break the wheel, a sign of bad things to come. He brought out the wheel again shortly after, and I hoped he would target Tutanka, who could resist his ultimate, but he instead picked Ostrich to be his next victim. I tried to keep him healthy, but it was just too much. Fredbear managed to flee out of the situation, and the wicked landlubber went down. I afterwards befriended the mermaiden that I named Salmon, that didn't make up for my losses at all. Cuff's death wasn't that bad. He was ultimately a short-lived failed experiment, but Ostrich really did not have to die. I didn't even get to evolve him. Anyways, time for damage control. All-Star is back on the team, and I added Baffle as well. Maybe having a second healer could help prevent casualties in the future. We'll see. I went back to Hovernyan with all the guys, and then get jumped by the 2 Bolex stealers. Kin and Jin's main gimmick is that they can revive each other, and you have to take care of their time stones to prevent the revival. So if one of them died, best not lock yourself in his ultimate. The fight went smoothly, and this time no one died. Then Nathaniel and the classic yokai finish off the two witches. I don't know how they got here, considering I saved them in the future, but they probably took a Miradox or something. Chapter 7 is a filler chapter that wouldn't have been needed if they would have just cut chapter 2 in 2 parts. You have to do key quest in this chapter, but you have to do the Jabanian quest first, which makes me question why they even made this a key quest and not just regular main story. So I learned about Bull's tragic backstory, evolved All-Star, got on a train misadventure, and that's actually really good. In case you don't know, you need this item to evolve Flushback into Vacuumary, who is an A-rank healer. This could be very useful. Talking about Flushback, I had to make my dad remember something important by using a Flushback I grabbed earlier. I then evolved Diary and got another Flushback, one that I can actually use this time. I named him Theory after the Therizinosaurus, because, fun fact, when it was discovered first, it was briefly believed to be a turtle instead of a dinosaur. Once I got the turtle, I didn't waste time to evolve him and put him on the team in Baffled's place. I never used Vacuumary in a playthrough before, so I was interested to see how he would do. I then killed the guys for the B rank quest, which is a key quest in this. Level 5 had no clue what to do with the key quests here. Then it was time to fight our Ace King Eye Clone. Eye Clone has 3 eyes you can pin. The ones on his hands allow him to use fire and ice attacks, as well as in spirits, while the one on his head allows him to use wind attacks and his ultimate. For some reason I was aiming at the head eye, even though my team is pretty good against wind. I've also figured out some pretty neat things in this fight. For once, Theory's skill doesn't just lower wind damage, it also draws wind attacks to him. And also, Boshi and All-Star were guarding here, even though All-Star has Forget to Guard. So I assume that Forget to Guard doesn't guarantee that yokai won't guard, and more so lowers the odds of a yokai guarding. Besides learning these new little feats of the game, the fight was rather uneventful. And I got another sentient umbrella, who I named Mini and will never use because I'm over halfway through the game and he's only E rank. In chapter 8 I had to go to war. But first I did the optional SV Snaggerjack boss for funsies, which caused Fredbear to evolve. And I decided to get Harry Berry as my encounter, who I named Freddy Fazbear. But now it's time for war. Because I'm playing on a fleshy soul file, I didn't really get to choose the side in this. My first job was to kill this guy with way too many eyes, and then I had to clean up people who entered our territory. You only have to do 3 battles or so, I believe, but I decided to do all the optional ones as well. And they all didn't stand a chance. I was kinda worried that I got over leveled, cause none of these fights were really challenging. Then there was the mandatory Lionheart and Endurance fights, which were also really easy. And then it was up to the Boner Man himself. It was really easy though. All-Star could just shred through his health all by himself. And from there, the Charming guys could assist him in taking down his goons. All-Star really carried here. Then it turns out that the whole war was just a bit made by the Wicked Yokai, who I barely bothered to mention in all of this. In chapter 9 I had to find someone called Master Nyada. He's apparently such a legendary yokai that the legendary category would undermine his legendariness. Turns out he's some old guy who likes watching superhero cartoons made for 12-year-olds. Pretty base if you ask me. By the way, Master Nyada was my favorite yokai when I was a kid. He was the only one on my team who had all maxed out attacks, so young me must have liked him a lot. Master Nyada promised us that after completing his trials, we will be strong enough to push back against the wicked invasion. But before that, I remembered that fusions exist and got a mad mountain named Rock, who I fused with Pogo Stick, creating Pogo Rock. Pogo Rock is a high ranked tank who will surely be useful in the future. To do Master Nyada's quests, I first had to get a rank watch and beat up a bunch of guys. Should be simple enough. Okay, Tuthanka just got one-tapped. So, normally, when someone dies in my Nuzlocks, I try to reflect to see what I could have done differently. In the Captain Crash fight, I maybe could have invested more in offense, and maybe bring a lightning attribute attacker while I was at it. Maybe I could have broken the wheel much faster like this and prevent some of the casualties. But here, I have no clue how this could have been prevented. I clearly wasn't underleveled considering how easily I breezed through the previous chapter. So yeah, if you have any suggestions on how this could have been prevented, let me know. I added Pogo Rock to the team, cause surely a tank is not gonna die on me that quickly, right? I also was really scared over the thought that I had to beat the rest of the game without intimidation. I leveled up our new recruit and then faced the remaining yokai for my new watch upgrade. Now I can finally start Nyada's trials. First I had to catch him in a game of tag, which is very easy because he just walks in circles. Then I had to find some kittens and almost fail. And then I had to fight the Muncher. I was so scared of this guy. He does shit tons of damage and can heal himself after a KO. All of this can snowball very quickly. But I had a plan. Introducing the Pogo Star strat. Step 1. Charge Pogorock's ultimate. Step 2. Charge All-Star's ultimate. Step 3. Let Diary heal Pogorock. Step 4. Let All-Star attack for super effective damage. Step 5. Profit. Absolutely foolproof. With all the trials passed, we can now wield an ancient murder weapon of mass destruction. The hose. It's a hose. With this new weaponry, we are able to turn the battle in our favor and kick Unfairy's butt. But this little runt snitches on us, and for the final chapter, Dame Deadtime sends us into an alternative future where she succeeded and people inspired by wicked yokai run around, being too incompetent to run stores that get 3 visitors a year. It also has my mom demanding me to brush my teeth, so I better call Wii U to get back in the past and kick wicked ass. First, I fought Untidy, who got cleaned up quickly with the Pogo Star strat. Next up was Unkind, for which I don't really have anything mentionable. Unpleasant was up next, and I found a way to jinx him. You will always attack the yokai that's charging a ultimate, and if it's a yokai that resists wind, he won't make much progress. I then did a quick detour to get my last encounter for this run, which is a happy air I named Custard. And now I had to face the last elite wicked yokai, Unkeen. I once again used the Pogo Star strat. Even though Unkeen wasn't weak to wind, All-Star still did heavy numbers on him. It all went well until he started charging his ultimate, which made me piss myself violently. It connected and Pogorock the goat barely hang on. If they would have hit anyone else, there would have been another death on the counter. I healed Pogorock and Unkeen went down shortly after. Now it's time to face the woman in charge. And for this run, I wanted to use a strategy I saw the True Bad Omen use, which consists of only bringing 3 members of the actual team and 3 members that act as level steal / ultimate fodder. I decided to bring Fredbear and Boshi as my main attackers and Theory as my main healer, with Freddy Fazbear, Custard and Baffle acting as fodder. In this phase I only had to bring her down to half and that's it. It is still a scary fight, but no one has died. Realizing we can't defeat her with her healing herself the whole time, Nathaniel and Hovernyan, who are also here by the way, decided to summon their friends to kill her minions and shock her out of healing herself. Wait a minute, Zenka? You're dead. And Postick? We fused you. I just used your fuse form like 5 minutes ago. I think Nathaniel's tripping, but it doesn't matter because he does manage to kill them, allowing me to defeat Dame Deadtime for real this time. I will show the whole battle here, because this was really tough. Baffle unfortunately fell, which sucks. Yeah, she was fodder, but she was also the only fodder crew member that was on the actual crew for a while, so that sucks. But with all of that out of the way, there's only one more boss to fight, Mega Dead Time. And yes, I'm gonna do this joke with all of the final boss yokai in my Nuzlocks. And this spells the end to my Watch 2 Nuzlocke. Once again, it was a lot of fun, and this time stuff actually died, so I guess this makes better content now. This video was supposed to come out like much earlier, but due to technical difficulties, yeah, it took a few days longer. The Watch 3 Nuzlocke comes in like 2 years or something.